Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to present you with 15th episode of High Heels of Bitcoin series. My outstanding guest today is Erin Nakamoto, but as usual, she will introduce herself better. So, thumbs up and let's go!
Hi, I'm Erin Nakamoto. I am the founder of Anarcho Vegas. I am also a community manager of Float, which is a new social network. And I also am involved, I run the Las Vegas Bitcoin meetup. And that is the largest crypto meetup in Las Vegas. And I've been doing that since 2014.
Wow, that's great. I was going to ask you, how did you start? When did you start? How did your adventure start with crypto, with blockchain?
So my adventure started with crypto and blockchain. So in 2014, I was working at a hotel casino. I ran their sales department. And so in 2014, we actually put out a press release that we were going to be starting accepting Bitcoin for the hotel and also for the gift shop and things alike. So once that got out, I received a phone call from a gentleman who then asked me about hosting a Bitcoin meetup at our event. And I still was not really familiar on what Bitcoin was. So I met with him, he came in, we put on the Bitcoin meetup, and actually that was my fiance. I was meeting him for the very first time. And yeah, so we threw one of the very first Las Vegas Bitcoin meetups together in 2014. I was on more the business side of things because I was, working out of the hotel. And then from there, we started dating 1 year later, and I kind of just fell into it. And it's just become the center of my life ever since.
That's great. My God, 2014 is like, for some people, it's Bitcoin ancient history, because most of the people I know entered in like 2017 or things like that. And you can, I think you can, in the future, you can record a movie called Bitcoin Love Story or something like that.
Yeah, that's the goal. Our whole life is just going to be made into a movie eventually. So, but yeah, no, 2014 is, it was an interesting time in cryptocurrency for sure. I really did not truly get involved, like a stake in the game. I had Bitcoin in 2014. I lost my private key. I know, stupid, but it wasn't so bad. But like 2016, 2017, 2018, that's when I really kind of started diving down the rabbit hole and realizing what Bitcoin was. It's not just a vehicle for payments. It's actually the biggest wealth transfer that we've ever seen.
Well, I personally call Bitcoin biggest or most powerful supercomputer of humanity, because Bitcoin network is more powerful than, I think, all supercomputers altogether. But I wanted to ask you, are you full-time in crypto, or do you have a normal job and crypto is just a hobby?
I'm full-time in crypto. So I left, I call it my slave job, tax slave job. I left that in when was it? I want to say 2015, 2016. And so I've just been working in crypto ever since, and it's been great. So on the side, like I mentioned, I run Anarcho Vegas. I do the Las Vegas Bitcoin meetup. I also do Float. But on the side of that, I also work with a couple of Bitcoin ATM providers here in Las Vegas, and I service their machines. I host meetups for crypto space. I work with Lolly a few weeks back. So I'm kind of just, I don't know. I've come full circle, and I've accepted that crypto is kind of my life, and it's been really fun. I highly suggest kind of just throwing yourself out into the world and seeing what value you can bring to the crypto community, and that's just going to come back to you tenfold.
Yeah, you have mentioned Las Vegas, city of the sin, but of all the American cities, I think it should be the first one to accept cryptocurrencies because of all the casinos and other stuff.
Yeah, no, crypto in Las Vegas is doing well. My fiance and I joke a lot about the regulation side because, the government SEC goes after these people who got involved in the ICO craze or whatever. But you can go to Las Vegas and put your whole life savings on red on the roulette wheel, and you could lose everything in the blink of an eye, and the SEC isn't going to come pounding down your door. So, you know, I just think that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm not too happy about government protecting people, especially against the will, because if you want to risk, you should be allowed to risk, no matter if it's casino or if it's Bitcoin or any other stuff.
Right, exactly. So,
yeah, all right. So I can assume you're a crypto investor. Do you invest in cryptocurrencies?
I do. I have some holdings. It's mostly in Bitcoin.
Obviously.
I kind of got out of the altcoin game, you know, it was probably like a year or two ago. And I don't know, I'm looking forward to the days where you kind of lay up in bed again and you kind of see your portfolio just rise and rise and rise. And then you can't sleep because it just keeps increasing in value by like $100 increments every 10 minutes.
Yeah, but 2 days ago, the blood was shed and Bitcoin lost like, I don't know, 10%. And I was like,
it's a long
I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like for me, the price doesn't really affect my attitude anymore. I've been through a few bull and bear markets, and so at this point, like I know the value of cryptocurrency, and it's not really in Satoshis. It's more about freedom for me.
Yes, of course.
So, you know, I made a tweet I think it was a few weeks ago, but I basically said that I haven't looked at the price and I can't even remember how long, because I'm so focused on just building out, like, for instance, like Float is something that we do. And really, like, the motivation behind Float is to create something that's so awesome and so useful for the world that I don't have time to sit on CoinMarketCap and stare at the price volatility. I don't care, you know what I mean? I just want to bring value to the community that's going to push the world further.
Yeah, I think the same. I think I have seen your tweet. I usually tell to people that understand this: blockchain is the real power. Bitcoin is great, but Bitcoin may die someday. I know it's almost,
it can't stay king forever.
Yeah, of course. But blockchain is the real power because it will be someday everywhere. Maybe not everywhere, but in many real life applications. And if you will use blockchain, maybe you will start your own business or things like that, then you will earn. And in Bitcoin, you may lose, you may earn. So it's better to invest in yourself, better to learn maybe programming languages or things like that. Blockchain space needs many people, not only programmers, but also marketing managers or, I don't know, team leaders, many different people.
Yeah, well, the thing I say this pretty often, but you know, like as fun as it is to lay in bed and watch your phone and be excited about the price action, I mean, those moments are so few and far between in the crypto world that I've really actually learned to appreciate the bull markets. I'm sorry, the bear markets rather, just because that's the time where you bury your head down and you learn, like you mentioned, and you learn and you build and you try to innovate as much as possible to take advantage of the bull market. You know, so there's beauty in the bear market for sure.
Yeah, of course. And when the price drops suddenly, you can buy some crypto and then sell it like 1 day or 2 days later. Usually after the big dump, there goes a pump and and things like that.
Oh, I don't know about that life. I kind of just hold it. I either spend it or I hold it. You know, I'm a firm believer in the only way we're going to achieve mass adoption is if there are Bitcoins circulating the merchant side. You know, you need merchants to accept crypto in order for it to grow, right? Kind of like the money supply. The more merchants accept the US dollar, obviously, the further the dollar is going to go. You know, and obviously like, there are people out there who do not agree with me about spending your Bitcoin. But for me, you know, like my fiance and I, we lived off of our crypto last year. We paid for groceries, we paid our rent, we paid, you know, for pretty much everything using our crypto. And so it was definitely an experience, something I probably wouldn't want to do again as far as living off of it. But, you know, like we pay for hotels, for flights, you know, whatever we needed. Crypto is there to help us out, which was super helpful.
Yes, however, I think the real adoption is needed because now, when you go to a grocery store and you pay with crypto, the store immediately converts it to fiat. And we must reach the level when they will not convert it to fiat because they will be able to pay with this Bitcoin or Litecoin or anything other to their seller. So they will be able to buy some goods with a cryptocurrency, and we are far from it, I think.
That's the dream, right? So it's interesting though, because there is a company out there called ElectroPay. I don't know if you're familiar.
No, I don't. I am not.
But it's a point of sale system. And so how it works, for instance, if you were to go to a grocery store and put your things on the counter, they would scan it and they would basically type in the value and then convert it to Satoshis. And then you can pay with your crypto. You just scan a QR code and they receive crypto, but you know, it's an easy way for them to convert and calculate the difference between Satoshis and dollars. And so, you know, you're giving them crypto, they're accepting crypto, but everything is kind of priced out in a way where they can convert the Satoshis to the currency of choice. It's pretty fascinating. And honestly, I think it's very fast. So I like that you can scan the QR code, it prints you out a receipt immediately. So I highly recommend checking that out. I think that could definitely be a tool to achieve mass adoption if more merchants accepted ElectroPay or payments through ElectroPay, and that's ELETRO.
All right, we'll link it down below in the video description, so it won't be a problem. The change is coming. It's coming slow, but it is coming. I think we will see it in like next couple of years. So people, stores will start accepting real crypto, not converting it to fiat with every transaction, but start accepting crypto. We will see it, of course. All right. So you have mentioned your meetup in Las Vegas, but also it's Anarcho Vegas, or how do you call it?
So those are two separate things. So right. The Bitcoin meetup is called the Las Vegas Bitcoin meetup. And so we have close to 1,000 members on Facebook, and I think a little more than I think we're at 800 on meetup.com. And so we've just been growing it steadily since 2014, like I mentioned, and we do them monthly. And it's honestly, it's been really fun. I actually have a meetup tonight at 6 o'clock.
All right, and the other one, because I think Leah Thompson told me about Anarchodelphia, or you were participating there too, right?
Yeah, I spoke at Anarchodelphia. Yeah.
Can you tell me more? Can you tell me more about this? Is it anarchy related or crypto related?
Yes, it's both actually. The thing about cryptocurrency, I think it has a very anarchist undertone, because at the end of the day, I think what could truly bring more transparency and bring more also privacy to the world and more accountability and everything such as that is the blockchain. And so I think that's very anarchist in its own right. You know, if you hold your Bitcoin in a Bitcoin wallet where you hold the keys, the government can never, ever, ever take that from you. Nobody can, right? And so there's beauty in that. So there's very anarchist undertones. So I did speak at Anarchodelphia. That's not my conference, but I do hold Anarcho Vegas. And so the goal of that was to bring the crypto and anarchy community together. So actually in 2020, we're doing a Crypto Vegas and we're doing an Anarcho Vegas day. So we'll kind of get the best of both worlds there.
Yeah, that's great. I think we will. I think in our lifetime we will see the times when governments won't control the financial system, or maybe even because now banks control the financial system, and banks basically control the government. Maybe we will see a global decentralized financial system. Yeah.
It's okay. So this past week, especially, the Federal Reserve, is printing $75 billion a day to bail out these banks. 75 billion. They're just printing that every single day and just handing it off to the banks because the banks don't have the reserve that we think they do. So the banks are in trouble. So if, from hearing that, my hope is that Bitcoin, well, I know that Bitcoin's going to survive through that, but really I hope people kind of flock towards Bitcoin and understand that, I mean, the US dollar, like the collapse is coming. It really is. And so at the end of the day, people put a lot of heart and stock into these banks, and the banks are not the answer,
Yes, of course. I think the biggest sin of the banks is the thing called, I think it's called fractional reserve system or things like that.
Yeah.
So they don't have the money to cover all the deposits. But there are some banks called it's in Switzerland, and they are quite different than typical banks because they have the full coverage. They do not use fractional reserve system, and
Right.
basically if you have like $2 or $5 million, and then you go to the bank and say, I want to withdraw my money, that's all right, just give us 5-10 minutes and then you get all the money. Try to do this in Poland, in Europe, in Russia, in China, all right, maybe China is different, but I don't think so, or in the States. It's impossible. They will have to ask you to wait, like, I don't know, in Poland 2 or 3 days. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, or even, like sending money. Like if you, for instance, if I sent money to you right now via my bank to yours, they will deposit, let's say I send you $100,000, they'll give you a very, very small amount, and then the rest will clear within like 7 to 10 business days or 5 to 7 business days. And it shouldn't be that, like, you're literally going to a bank and you're asking permission to do something with your money.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be that way. Like, it's your money, you earn it. And so you should have control of that money. If I want to send you $100,000, I should be able to do that, and within minutes, and Bitcoin and crypto give us that. And so that's why it is the most powerful technology currently and will continue to do so. One thing I'm very, very excited about is fast privacy coins.
Yeah, but I don't know if you know, but in the Far East, like China, like South Korea, they are removing privacy coins from the exchanges.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, yep. Okay, off of OKEX, right?
Yes, and I think HitBTC and a couple of other exchange changes. It doesn't happen in Europe. I don't know if it happens in United States, but it happens in the Far East. So I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But speaking about financial system, I think some banks understand that their days are over, and they will either adapt, or rather evolve, or they will disappear.
I agree. You hear things such as like Fed coin, or Ripple, JP Morgan coin. And so I think these banks are discussing these technologies because they see the value in it. I mean, look at what Jamie Dimon did. Like he sat there and he talked crap about crypto, drew the price down, and then bought a ton. That was master manipulation at its finest. And so I really do believe that they are going to try to get involved, because why wouldn't they? They have to get involved if they want to survive. So we'll definitely see more. I think we'll see more regulation and more banks and more financial institutions try to implement cryptocurrency. They're just not doing it the right way, because they still believe that there needs to be a third party involved with financial transactions, and that's just not the case anymore.
Well, in Poland we have a saying concerning the financial system and trading and things like that: buy gossip, sell facts. I don't know if it's also in English. So when you hear a gossip, you should buy, because people don't believe in it. And then after you see the facts, something like I don't know, some company has great financial year, or great profits. So then you sell the stocks, and then you earn.
Sorry.
How do you, in Polish it's na zdrowie, how do you call it when someone sneezes?
Usually people say bless you, but I say I acknowledge your sneeze because I don't feel comfortable saying bless you.
All right. I will stick to bless you. All right.
Thank you. It's an interesting time. It is an interesting time. And so I know that you said something about trading. And so did you see that Binance has actually closed their exchange off to US customers, and they're just going to be opening up like a Binance US?
Yes, I have seen it, and it will be like not all the cryptocurrencies, but only some selected ones like Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, XRP, Litecoin. I don't know, maybe 20 of them, not all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I'm a huge proponent for decentralized exchanges. Yeah. And so if this is not financial advice, but if you are going to buy crypto, for me at least, I think it's always a good idea to do it peer-to-peer or through decentralized exchanges.
Yes, but I think there should be some truly decentralized exchanges. Like, I don't know, maybe if you've heard about BISC.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah, because I think Binance DEX is not truly decentralized, because you still have Binance, you still have their web page, and basically they can close this decentralized, I call it pseudo decentralized exchange, because it's not truly decentralized. I think like Crypto Bridge or Token Store or things like that, or Ether Delta, those are truly decentralized exchanges.
And like you had mentioned, OKEX in Asia is getting rid of privacy coins, and so like you definitely see, and you here in the US especially, like you see companies and banks taking over exchanges such as like Poloniex, and others, Gemini, heavy on the regulation side. So I think as more and more banks try to take over exchanges, and very, very popular exchanges are taken down, I think for everyone that is taken over or taken down, you're going to see 5 more decentralized exchanges pop up on the other side. I don't think there's a way around that. And I actually, that brings me so much hope that, people are constantly innovating. And so I always say this, Satoshi Nakamoto was just a guy with a great idea, and he executed it. So at the end of the day, like there could be something that's super awesome that's created. I don't know. That just brings me so much hope, where one exchange is taken over, taken down, and then all of these awesome innovations just pop up on the other side.
I think the governments should realize that they cannot stop it. They cannot stop this revolution, just like they couldn't stop the dark web. Dark internet, they cannot stop it. It works, just like you cannot control all of the people. There are some countries like, I think it's Bangladesh. Bangladesh. Crypto is illegal there. You can go to jail for like trading, like owning Bitcoin, and there are exchanges there. There are people trading crypto there. Government cannot control everyone. It's not like North Korea.
Right, exactly. Well said.
And I think the change is coming because when Bitcoin was created as a response to the last financial crisis, and then one of my friends told me about different levels, I think I can call it different levels of financial crisis, or rather crises, and the last one was like level 1. Level 1 crisis is like this one we have seen like in 2008 or 2008, yeah. And level 2 is like the crisis from 20s, what happened in the United States. But there is also level 3, and level 3 is the crisis where some governments collapse, some countries collapse, and he told me that it is possible that the upcoming crisis is the level 3.
Yeah.
And, it's hard to believe, but it is possible.
Yeah, and it's scary because you don't know what's going to expect, but every fiat currency
Yeah.
has in history there hasn't been one fiat currency that's survived as long as the US dollar. And so all good things come to an end. And not that I'm saying US dollar is a good thing,
Yeah.
but it's going to be interesting to live through something that we've never seen before. And I think that's why it's so very important to not only stock up on crypto, but also to stock up on gold and silver. You know, and so yeah, it's scary, and but what are you gonna do? You have to try to figure out alternative methods to kind of survive.
Yeah, I only hope that we won't have to live through a nuclear war just to see the change, because it is possible that level 3 crisis will end up in nuclear war and many people will die. So I hope it won't be so bad. All right, but one question outside of this list I have sent you.
Yeah.
What do you think about Facebook Libra project? What do you think of this Facebook coin?
Oh, I think it's shit.
Yeah?
Yeah, why would you trust a website that bans people for speaking an opinion?
Yes, I agree. Facebook is a shit, but the more governments fear Libra, the more
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, you know what? It has been interesting to see the legislators kind of put a kibosh on it, you know, and push off the launch date. I think it's brought a lot of conversation to the table from people who actually wouldn't be talking about digital currencies otherwise. And so for that, I will give Libra its kudos. But as for Libra itself, you know, again, why would you throw money into something and invest in something that bans people for free speech, but also it you know, it's backed by like all these big companies like Visa and MasterCard and Uber and Lyft and
Yeah, and
whatever,
and
you know, like
Coinbase.
these multi-billion-dollar companies. And it's, you know, why would you get involved in something like that? It's just pizzazz is what it is, but people don't realize that it's not, you know, like it's just not a good idea.
Yeah, well, let me state my mind. All right.
Yes.
I don't like Facebook because of the censorship, because they block free speech and conservative views. I am pretty conservative. I am man of the freedom, and I think I should say that I think the freedom of one person should end only when it limits the freedom of the other person. So we should be free to do anything we want, unless
Right.
unless we don't
Unless we're hurting somebody.
yeah. Oh, right, that's right.
Yeah.
But then if you think about cryptocurrencies, all right, we have Bitcoin with all the other cryptocurrencies. All right, it may pump, it may dump, the value may rise, it may drop. But then if you have stablecoin, stablecoin is connected to some kind of fiat money. So one may be like Tether connected to US dollar, other may be connected to other crypto fiat currencies. But then if you want to keep the value, you are still connected to some fiat money. And what Libra wants to do, they want to create something like ETF. They want to assign their value of their currency to many fiat currencies, and also gold and also silver, things like that. So imagine that when I understand it's Facebook, it's bad and things like that, but then
Yeah, no, I'm interested in hearing your opinion.
yeah, and when if you want to keep your value of your money, then if you invest in Tether, if US dollars collapses, then you will collapse also. Yeah, you can move to other cryptocurrencies, but then it will collapse. So if you have things like ETFs, then you can, let's say it's backed like 10% of US dollars, 10% on Swiss francs, 10% of GBPs, 10% of yuans and things like that. Then when one fiat currency collapses, it won't affect the whole price. So I think the idea itself is great. And they claim they won't be able to control it. I know it's bullshit, but they claim they won't be able to control it. They won't be able to take your money. And I think if it will be true, if it comes out that it's true, so they cannot control it, it will be great system. If they will control it, it's piece of shit, and I don't want to have anything to do with it. But if they won't be able to control it, then I think the system itself is great.
Right. Well, I think that logic is understandable. However, there is one thing that I just want to go back to. You said if one fiat currency falls, the others won't be affected.
Well, that's not entirely true, because when US dollar collapses,
the US dollar falls, I mean, the franc is going to be affected, the pound is going to be affected, the won is going to be affected. I think a lot of these currencies are very dependent on the price of the US dollar.
Yeah, I think Swiss franc is pretty safe, because when we have had like a financial crisis, I think the franc raised, and then we have also gold and silver.
Right.
So fiat currencies will go down, but gold and silver will go up. So maybe the value will still be the same. So it will be pretty well balanced. But as I said, if Facebook will control it, I think
exactly. It's that centralization factor. I think the more decentralized, the better, right?
Right, I agree.
I think we need to. It's an interesting time right now, because I feel like many people are waking up to the power of decentralization, and once we get a little bit of that power back in our hands, we're not going to release it easily. And I think governments hate that. So, I think there's always going to be that internal, external struggle between governments and keeping people, I don't want to say enslaved, but really, I mean, fiat currencies they do enslave people, and centralized currencies, they do enslave people. And so decentralization is freedom.
Yeah, I agree, because governments enslave people. We have to say it. Governments enslave people. If governments knows what's better for you, and you cannot do what do you want to do, then you are a slave.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. And look, the power of cryptocurrencies are exciting, because, like I said, we're putting the power back into our hands, and I'm excited to see how that happens in the next 10 years. What that looks like. Like, what do you think that's going to look like?
Well, I think there is one more thing needed. I think we need truly decentralized internet, because for now the governments like China or North Korea, they can block the internet, they can cut it out, and then you won't be able to connect to the global web. But there are some projects. I think Blockstream is one of them. They are sending satellites to the Earth orbit. It won't be super fast like fiber cables or things like that, but it will work. It will work anywhere, and they won't be able to block it unless they shut down the satellite. So I think it is needed, because then governments will realize, all right, internet is out of our control. We cannot control people.
I totally agree. I think that's a very interesting concept. And like you had mentioned, like, it's not just North Korea and China censoring the internet. The US is doing it too. If you look right now, if you go on YouTube and you type in something that you want to know about 9/11, or you want to type something in that, about anti-vaccinations, even if it's just to do your research, or just to see what the anti-vax community is saying, YouTube and Google, like, they're censoring this information so much that you're not able to find anything. I mean, hell, if you go on DuckDuckGo and then put DuckDuckGo and put Google in two separate windows, and you just type something in that's a little controversial, you'll see the more controversial things on DuckDuckGo, but less controversial things on the Google search. And that's because Google kind of suppresses that information when DuckDuckGo does not, and so it's pretty fascinating stuff. And I think that we definitely do need decentralized internet. Who does it first? I don't know. I know Skycoin is trying to accomplish that, aren't they?
I
You know,
think
and Blockstream,
Nexus.
I know Blockstream has a lot more money than Skycoin.
I think Nexus is one of the NXS is one of Nexus. It's one of those projects they want, but I don't know if they have launched any satellites yet, or they are still planning to do it.
Yeah, Nexus. It's fact. I like Nexus. I've heard good things. I've had friends who worked for Nexus, and I actually brought it up the other day because I don't know too much about it, and I think that I need to dive a little bit deeper on it. But I think their marketing is great.
Yeah, but when you have mentioned Google, I think Google is so powerful, it's so huge that it's like becoming one of the governments. They want to control the government. I think my channel, my YouTube channel, was like attacked 2 times. I've had my channel blocked, not because I have published something illegal or something that is not. Well, last time they claimed that, of course, it was my haters. They attacked my channel, and last time they claimed that I am selling illegal things like drugs, like weapons, slave animals, or things like that. It was stupid, but I did not receive any information from Google, any response. Then I had to email them. Of course, now I'm fine. It's all because of the AI. AI has to learn. I think we are just like lab rats, and they are experimenting on us.
It's true. You know, the main motivation behind Float was to kind of save people that headache. You know, our friend has a very wide, fast-growing alternative news channel. He was making a ton of money on his videos, and YouTube just stopped the viewership. They unsubscribed a bunch of people and claimed it was bots. They shadow ban him. They demonetize his videos constantly, so he can't make any money. I mean, his income went from, you know, over 10K to $1,500 a month, like that. And so it's horrible, but he's not the only one who has that story. There are many content creators out there being censored by Google and YouTube, and it's a horrible thing. And so the reason why we started Float was to kind of circumvent that problem and give people a place where not only will their content remain safe, their free speech will remain safe, but also you guys can monetize your content. I mean, for instance, you go live on YouTube right now. I send you a super chat, you know, $10.
Yeah.
YouTube is going to take 30% of that.
Or maybe even more.
Or maybe even more, you know? And so how fair is that to you, the content creator? You do all this work.
Yeah.
YouTube already, you know, takes a portion of your monetization as far as like viewerships and stuff like that and ad revenue. And then you get, you know, nothing. they totally slash your income. But on Float, we don't take any fees. All that's taken out of that super chat fee is just minor fees because it's paid in Bitcoin. So it's you know, that was our primary motivation there. It's really sad what Google and YouTube are doing to the content creators and to the conservative voices in this community.
Yeah, you forgot to mention that you can read minds, because I was going to ask you about Float. So that was my next question, but you have already answered them. So it's like decentralized social media. How can you call it?
So it's a better social media. We didn't want to compromise the UI because I feel like right now we have a lot of competition in our space.
Yeah.
And so there are tons of different social media, alternative social media platforms out there. But the UI UX is a little confusing, or it's just not there yet. And so we didn't want to compromise usability for decentralization at first. So as we go, we have a decentralization strategy and also a way to implement nodes. So it's not technically on the blockchain, but we implement cryptocurrencies being like the payment vehicle. So we are not a third party. We are just there to help facilitate transactions. So for instance, if someone wants to subscribe to High Heels on Bitcoin monthly, they can just go to your profile on Float and then from there subscribe to your content and pay $2 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, $30 a month, you know, and get exclusive content from you.
Yeah, I would prefer one Bitcoin.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I know. I understand why you did it, because you cannot put everything on the blockchain. I try to tell it to people. You cannot create blockchain which will store videos or even images, because it will grow exponentially, and then no one will be able to run a node, because it will be too
Convoluted, yeah.
Yeah.
And not just that, but no offense, guys, but your cat pictures and cat videos don't really need to be on the blockchain.
Right.
You know what I mean? There are certain things that do belong on the blockchain and certain things that don't. So we definitely are excited for our decentralization strategy and implementing these nodes. And I can get you on a call with our CEO to discuss that further. But it's it's a really exciting time right now, because we're building something that people really care about. They're begging for a better social media platform, and so on our platform you can live stream, you can do long form posts, short term posts, you can actually upload audio, so you can do podcasts. You have community boards we're going to be implementing here soon, and tipping, super chats, subscription models, and just so much more. And we're really excited to kind of take the best of all the platforms and put them in one spot and just do it better. I mean, like my fiance and I will sit on the computer and we'll go through Facebook, right? And he'll be like, "Oh, if I only had $1 billion, like I could do this so much better," And so I was like, well, let's do it, like let's really throw what we can and see what we can do better, and if people like it. And we've gotten so much good feedback. We have it's not a huge number of people, of users just yet. We launched roughly 40 days ago. But the engagement that I get on Float is far more than I get on Twitter. And I have over 1,500 followers on Twitter, which is not a lot, but it's crazy to see the difference in engagement you get when people genuinely care about what you're doing, and being on a platform that cares about your privacy and cares about your just the user in general.
Yeah, right. I will definitely join Float. But you have mentioned very, very important thing. If you have shitty UI, then decentralization won't mean a thing. People need easy, nice, and beautiful UI. Without
that's the problem. That's the problem with a lot of platforms out there, right? Like some of these decentralized platforms or sites are built by engineers for engineers.
Right.
And to the normal public who don't have a clue on how to get started with Bitcoin or how to get started on an alternative media channel, it can be difficult. So we didn't want to sacrifice one for the other. We wanted to make it as easy as possible. And we can, you can always decentralize from where you are,
Yeah.
And so that was kind of our strategy from the get-go. Let's make it easy for people to join and for people to learn how to use it. And then from there, we'll make sure that nobody can take down Float, no one, that it's safe, that your stuff is protected, and kind of move it on down this decentralization line.
So right now, do you use some, I don't know, centralized server, or like do you use IPFS?
Right now, we do use a centralized server, but we are going to be moving things over and implementing it down with I think it is IPFS that we are looking at. Like right now, you can stream on OBS and things from there. But I can get you on a call with our CEO and our CTO to discuss the technical details of Float.
All right, I will I will keep that in mind, because also I have a men's response to High Heels of Bitcoin, because High Heels of Bitcoin is where I interview women, and then we have a new series. I didn't do any episodes yet, but it's called Cryptosterone. It's like the little wordplay, so it's crypto and testosterone, so it will be Cryptosterone. I know it sounds better in Polish than in English. But okay, I have preset decent graphics, and then I will start interviewing some men of crypto. So it will be both in Polish and in English. So it will be
Right.
much easier to find my interviewees, because there are a lot more of men in in crypto
Yeah,
than
well,
women.
there definitely are more men than women. But the thing, like for me, I don't know. There are a lot of people out there who are on the women in blockchain movement, and for me, it's just like, well, I mean, if you're interested in it, male or female, you're going to get involved in it, right? And so we should always encourage each other
Yes, of
to
course.
to build up the movement rather than having it be a man versus woman thing. You know, obviously it is more male dominated at the moment, but the more people that the more minds that we bring into blockchain, the better. And so I think it really comes down to like, what is this person capable with their mind? You know, what can they bring to the movement? And yeah, I don't know. It's because this women in blockchain thing, it's very hot right now, right? Yeah. Every conference you go to, you have women in blockchain panels and, you know, the like. And I don't know. I think that that's pretty counterproductive. I think if we just focused on building the movement rather than focusing on bringing more women into the movement, I think that we'll see far more advances. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, I agree. However, I have to tell you that I always tell to the people that Bitcoin or the blockchain doesn't care if you're a man or you're a woman or you're a
Exactly.
fat or you're a high or you're a Martian or you're a
Right.
from.
But like what? Yeah, exactly. What can you bring to the space?
Yeah,
You
of
know?
course.
Yeah.
All right. Now, if you we have started this topic, so I would like you to ask you about your experiences with men. Obviously, do they treat you well, or maybe they are like sexists or things like that? What are your experiences? Are they good? Are they bad?
I've had no bad experiences with men in the movement. I've never experienced sexism. Um, I've never experienced anyone discounting me. You know, I think that here's the thing. So for me, like I've thrown meetups in strip clubs before, and I've gotten a lot of flack from that from men and women alike, mostly women. But also there were a lot of men who criticized me on that decision. And here's my reasoning. You know, people will sit there and they say, well, what does strip clubs have to do with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency? What does anything have to do with Bitcoin and
Yeah.
cryptocurrency? You know, like the more we get everyone involved in crypto, the better. You know, I want homeless people to use cryptocurrency to get out of the hole that they're in. I want strippers using cryptocurrency because that increases that gets more Bitcoin in more people's wallets and more Bitcoin circulating. I want, you know, businessmen and businesswomen and, you know, hospitals, and I want all these industries to adopt blockchain technology and everyone to start a wallet. I'm not, you know, criticizing anybody because I want mainstream adoption to happen.
So yes,
So
I totally agree, because if you can buy some porn with Bitcoin, so you should be offended by Bitcoin. No, it's just
right.
it's just a tool. So you can use a knife to kill a man, or you can use a knife to cut the vegetables. So
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency are a tool, you know, and I think everyone deserves to use it, whether you are a sex worker or not. And
right.
so, you know, there's a contradiction that I think a lot of people make. I know the Miami Bitcoin conference held a party at a strip club a couple of years ago, and there was a huge uproar about it, especially in the women in blockchain movement. And you know, like while women felt degraded, honestly, I felt empowered because I know that more people are using cryptocurrencies. You know, if you feel uncomfortable that there are strippers at a party, don't go.
Right.
You know, don't blame that on cryptocurrency and the domination of men.
No one is forcing you.
No, exactly. You are not being forced against your will to go to these things. You know, like there are going to be booth babes, there are going to be sex workers, there's going to be people who are going to accept and go to these events who you may not like. But at the end of the day, it's not a man versus woman thing. it's a personal thing. If you have an issue with that, go within yourself and figure out why you're uncomfortable with it and go from there. I mean, a lot of women do experience sexism, but I think that's more of a person-to-person problem.
You know what? In Poland, it's not that bad because we hear a lot from the United States. You can say to a woman that you are beautiful, and then she will feel offended, and then she will say you are trying to rape her or things like that. But it's changing because I have heard that there are men who are afraid to stay in the same room with women. So it's like
that's the problem right now. And that's not in Poland. That's everywhere, my friend. People in the States, more and more women are kind of adopting this victim mentality when they should feel empowered and realize, like, hey, I'm a badass chick, like I'm in blockchain, I'm changing the world. And I think that should be the empowerment rather than, oh, I'm a woman, So, but like I said, I think that when we see sexism, we do need to call it out. When a guy is being a dick, I think you should be able to look at him and say, hey, stop being a dick. Just because you have a penis does not mean that anything more about that, about how you should feel about people who don't have penises.
Yeah, right.
Like honest to God, I've experienced some assholes in the space, nothing pointed at me directly, but you have to call it out, and you can't be afraid to call it out, whether they're a man, whether they're a woman. I've called plenty of women out on their shit too, and it's just because it's just an attitude problem. Change your perspective. Once you change your perspective, this movement will grow far and wide.
Yeah, I think there are assholes everywhere, no matter if they are a male or they are a female.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. But it's very good that you are the another person who says to me that it's okay. People respect you. But you know what? I hope that you won't see someday feminists of blockchain movement. I hope it won't happen because, just like you said, it won't matter if you are a man or you're a woman. If you're an expert, if you're good at what you do, then you will be respected, and people will like you.
I think the feminist movement right now is, it's not about equality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially, I don't know how it is. I don't know how it is in Poland, but here in America, I feel like politics are very polarizing, and so more and more women think they're deserving because they're women. And at the end of the day, I love being a woman. I respect all people, but it's right now the feminist movement is not about equality, and it's not where it should be. And so I hope that the feminist movement can get back to being, hey, man, woman, let's be equal. Let's,
Right. Of course.
So I'm hoping that it gets there, but and I don't know. It's interesting. But I'm glad that you brought this up. Actually.
Yeah, of course there are always differences between women and between women, and I think it was 2 or 3 days ago, I have seen on YouTube there is or on Facebook there is a U.S. congressman candidate, or maybe it was U.S. senator candidate, and he said things like, okay, when a man sits in the prison and he decides he is a woman, he should be moved to a women prison. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty polarizing at the moment. I've never seen it like this before, and we'll see how things turn out. I don't want to get so into that.
Yeah, right.
I don't want this to turn into such a controversial conversation where people will just have a field day in the comments. But at the end of the day, I personally have not experienced what some women in the movement have experienced. And I think that has everything to do with my attitude. I just respect people who are doing things in the space. There are plenty of people who I feel like have a lot of cred in the space who maybe shouldn't, because they're not really delivering on the things that they say, or they're not bringing anything of value. They're just talking. And I think those are the people that you need to take credibility away from and put it towards people who are actually giving and providing good things and value to the cryptocurrency space.
Yes, of course, you should be yourself, I will be me, and everyone will be happy. Do what
and
you want.
let's just create and build awesome things to further advance the world. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Right. All right. Moving on. Let's move to your future plans. What do you plan to do? Where do you want to be in like 5 years? Or maybe you don't think about it. Maybe you just live day by day.
I try to live in the day by day. I think that as long as I'm focused on my goals and focused on building cool things and advancing the world, that opportunities will always come to me. I mean, I wake up every day and there are things that pile on my plate now that I could not have even dreamed of 5 years ago. So it's every day is kind of a new opportunity for me. I can only hope that the world will be a little bit further advanced as far as, you know, like we talked about decentralized internet and kind of just a better overall, more prosperous place. But as far as like where I want to be in the next 5-10 years in space, man, the space moves so fast. I don't think I can live in the future that far ahead.
Some people say that we cannot even imagine what will happen in like 50 years.
I don't think we can. I never thought that we would be where we are now 10 years ago. You know, I think that especially in the crypto space, the technologies that are created just come out every single day. And I'm honestly, I'm on what is it called? CoinDesk. I'm on CoinDesk every day reading these articles.
Yeah, me too.
I can't believe some of the things that I'm reading. I can't believe some of the advancements that are constantly coming out and the things that people are trying to do. It's awesome, you know, and I think that needs to be more encouraged. So yeah, who knows where we'll be in 10 years? We might have flying cars by then and truly living in the Jetson future like we thought we were going to 10 years ago.
I think we must watch Simpsons because I think they have predicted many things like Donald Trump president or other, I think it was like cell phones or some kind of local war somewhere.
What is up with that, man? Like, who are these people?
They say that the guy who is behind Simpsons is time traveler.
You know, he's been proving us wrong like this whole time. So who knows? It's possible. I won't count it out.
Yeah, right. And then they say that the Bitcoin was created by artificial intelligence. So.
I mean. The internet, you said the internet was created by intelligence?
No, Bitcoin itself.
Oh, Bitcoin. Yeah, well, I mean, the internet was created really by the CIA, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that the Tor network was.
I don't think internet was created by, I think it was DARPA or some kind of military. I think it was a military network.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, I mean, that should further encourage us to build out a decentralized internet.
Yeah, I agree. All right. I forgot to ask you one more question about conferences. Do you travel only in the United States or maybe you travel worldwide? Have you ever been
I have not traveled worldwide yet. I would like to get there. I have some things holding me back from traveling worldwide, such as a dog and a cat. And unless I can take them in a private jet and fly to Europe, I really haven't gone to many conferences that are outside of the US. Right now, I mean, it's exhausting just traveling to the conferences in the United States.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine adding an international schedule to that. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the next couple of years. I know that I would really like to get to a couple of conferences in Asia. I think those are the big ones. I know right now, I think is Japan Blockchain Week. Is that right?
To be honest, I have no idea. But you know, yeah, you are right. United States are pretty big. It's not like Poland where I can enter my car and drive to the next border. Is like, I think Poland is like, I don't know, 800 kilometers across or maybe 850. So it's like, I don't know, 7 hours. So I can travel from one corner to the other. And last weekend we've had Mike Satoshi channel community meeting next to me, so people traveled like several hundred kilometers by car, and then it was great. We have met for the first time, and then we have talked Bitcoin, blockchain, and things like that, and of course drink some alcohol.
I think that's important. I think the most important thing that we can do is not to throw conferences, and that's hard to say because that's what I Anarcho Vegas is my baby. I created a conference, but my conferences focus more on entrepreneurship and kind of empowering people to take control over their lives, and to innovate. But the most important thing I think that we all can do as a society is do Bitcoin and cryptocurrency meetups. I think building community is the most powerful tool that we have. And so getting involved in your community and helping educate people on the powers of decentralized technologies and kind of spreading that news and spreading that message is our duty as people who are already in this space. And just because it will change the world, you just need to plant more seeds. And I always encourage, I've shared this with many of my friends here in the States, and finally I'm seeing it come to fruition. A friend of mine just started a Bitcoin meetup in Seattle. Another one just started one in Boston. And so it's very, very great to see these people kind of taking that responsibility onto themselves and saying, nope, you know what? I have a responsibility, and that's to educate people on the powers of decentralization and decentralized technologies.
Yeah, right. It's great. Community building is a great thing because I also run local meetings in my city for like, I don't know, 20, 30 people. But then again, my city is like 300,000 citizens, so it's not Poland. Yeah. Poland is not that big country. But it's great. It's great to meet those people again and again and again, and then we will listen to some lectures. Then we sit, we drink beer, we eat pizza, and then we have fun. So it is great. Some people even travel to us. It's like they finish their work, then they go by the car. They travel like 200 kilometers just to join this meeting, just for those 2 hours or 3 hours to talk to us, to meet in real life. That's great.
Small discussions can help truly change the world. And yeah. So I love that people are driving all that way to your meetup. That's incredible. Hopefully it grows and grows, and that 20, 30 people turns into 50, 60 and 70, 80. And
funny thing is, when Bitcoin hit like 13,000, then I've had like 40 people on this meetup when usually we average about I don't know, 15, sometimes 20, and then there were 35, 40 just because Bitcoin hit 13,000. I wonder what will happen when it will hit like 100,000.
I say that too. It's funny because back in, I think it was 2014, my fiance, he held a Bitcoin meetup with Andreas Antonopoulos here in Vegas, and like 10 people showed. And then actually I threw a meetup right in the heart of the bear market. I mean, like, you could feel it in the air. People were depressed, and I held a meetup and 60 people came, and I was blown away. And I was like, I can't wait for the bull market. I can't wait to see if I can get 60 people in a bear market. I wonder how many people I can get when Bitcoin is on the rise again. And then Bitcoin hit 13,000, and I'm still it's 25, 30 people coming to my meetups as of recently. And so we'll see what happens as it continues to go up. I see more and more new faces, which is great. Like I mentioned to you before we started recording, I went to the post office the other day, and I have my phone huddle. And the guy behind the counter goes, "You have to help me. I need to get involved in Bitcoin. I don't know what to do. I read on Coinbase, but it's difficult for me to figure out how to buy. What should I do?" And I said, "Come to my meetup. I'll help you."
Yeah, I know what you mean, because I'm live streaming every Sunday. It's called Crypto Sunday with Mike. You can call it that. It's like I think it have been 75 weeks so far. And then
Wow.
when the price drops, and when in January 2019, people were saying Bitcoin was like $3,000, and then I told people, okay, buy, it's a great price, it will rise. No, you don't you don't know a shit. It will drop. It will be like 1,000 or 100, and then people were asking when will it will rise. It was the most popular question on my live stream. When it will rise, and then couple of weeks later, Bitcoin hits like 5,000, and then they started asking, all right, I forgot to buy at 3,000. When will it drop? And then when it hit like 10,000, oh my God, where is this bull market? Where is this market correction?
Yeah.
So-
I mean, it's constant. It's a cycle, right? And so I think it's just going to keep continuing that way. I hope the market does turn around at some point, just to bring in more speculators in the space, because that's what drives the price, I think, is the speculative market. And I don't know. I think we're overdue for a nice little run up here soon.
There is a saying that good things comes to those who wait, but you cannot wait forever. And I think some people in crypto space will always wait. Bitcoin hits 1,000, they will wait. And then Bitcoin hits 100, they will still wait. They will always wait. No price will be good for them unless someone gives them Bitcoin for free. Then they will be happy.
Yeah, and even then, you know, I give out a lot of free Bitcoin. My fiance hates me because we'll go out to a restaurant and I'll say something to the waiter, and then before you know it, I have my wallet and I'm giving the waiter free Bitcoin. And my boyfriend or my fiance is like, stop giving away our money.
Yeah, and then when someday Bitcoin hits like 1 mil, he will remember this and said, "Do you understand how much money have you given to those people?"
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've heard it before. Yeah. But you know, like, I think that the only way to get people excited about cryptocurrency is if they have actual skin in the game.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I've learned. And honestly, there are a lot of people who disagree with me and say, nope, those people don't care. They're going to lose their private key and all that Bitcoin's just going to sit there and, you know, and that may be the case. But that $10 that I send these people in cryptocurrency to help onboard them is, you know, for me, like, it helps. Maybe it's selfish, but I feel like I'm contributing more education to the space. And so I hope that they will take it and fully understand what it means, and it'll kind of give them that push into the rabbit hole where they can go down and kind of investigate it themselves. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Hopefully it's worth it.
Yeah, I hope so too. All right, so last question I have is, let's forget about blockchain, let's forget about Bitcoin. What do you do in your free time when you don't think about Bitcoin, about blockchain? Do you have any hobbies?
I mean, I have a group of friends that we kind of just all hang out, but the conversation kind of always steers and turns into cryptocurrencies and what we can build. So I don't really have any super exciting hobbies. I mean, I like to hike, you know, and spend time with friends and family. But other than that, it's no, Bitcoin is and cryptocurrencies pretty much is my life, you know, and I'm good with that. Like, I like the fact that it's a constant thing in my brain and in my everyday life. I wouldn't really have it any other way.
That's great. All right, thanks you so much for this interview. It was great. I think it's the longest High Heels of Bitcoin episode. As I can see, it's 1 hour and 17 minutes. So great.
Oh,
it was great talking to you.
It was great to talk to you too. Thanks so much for having me on.
All right, so let's say goodbye to our audience, and then we'll just finish.
Okay, well, bye, audience. Thanks so much for watching. I'm sorry if this got a little controversial, and hopefully Mike's channel doesn't get taken down. But
yeah, you can check out Erin's links below in the video description. Make sure you follow her Twitter and other social media accounts, and remember to register on Float. So
Yeah, it's float.app, so flote.app.
yeah,
Join, get your favorite content creators to join, and just let's build a better world, people.
yeah. Decentralization starts with you. Don't
Mhm.
wait.
Don't wait.
All right, bye.